Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is actually Editing Jamie. I lost my clip for the intro to this video, so I sincerely apologize about that. But I'm really excited because this is going to be me ranking all of the books that I read this year. So from the 30th book that I read all the way up to the #1 spot. There are, and I explained this more, I did not lose this clip, but there are certain series that I'm going to group together, so it's not actually 1 to 30, it's actually 1 to 24, but I just wanted to hop on here and give you a quick little intro because the file is just completely gone, so hope you enjoy. I will say I'm filming this on my iPhone instead of my camera. I have a Canon camera and I feel like sometimes the quality of the picture itself is a little fuzzy. Mind you, it's an old camera. She is really getting up there in age. I have a Canon Rebel T3i, if that tells you anything. So I really need a new camera, but in the meantime, until I can save up and afford that, I figured I will just try testing filming on my iPhone. So we will see how this goes. But without further ado, I have my little list. And we're gonna get into the ranking because I am really excited to share. So we're gonna be going from number 24 up to number 1. I did group certain series together. There's one series where I had to break the books apart because they are just not on equal playing fields in my opinion, but the other series I grouped together. So that's why we don't have 30 to go through. But let's start with number 24, which is going to be The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I really don't have much to say about this book except I hated it. Gave it 1 star. Hate read it on my Kindle. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. I don't think it's a good book. Sorry. That sounded really harsh. I just don't think it's a good book. I just don't. I know that a lot of people really like that book. It was not for me. It was just not for me. Then number 23, I have Leaving Time by Jodi Picoult. This book, I really liked that it focused a lot on elephants because I really like elephants. But other than that, the book was really forgettable. I didn't like the twist at the end. I struggled to get through this one, which is why it's coming in way at the bottom. Number 22 is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I forgot that I read this year. I can't believe that I read this, I think back in January or February, and it was an okay book. I just feel like it got a lot of hype at the time that I was reading it, and I just don't really see the hype. Yes, it's a well-written story, and I really do like Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. I would read more from her. I've read more from her. But this one, it just kind of fell a little flat, and I didn't really love it, but I didn't really hate it. It was just an okay book. Number 22, I actually have do I? No, I don't. I returned it to Amazon. I bought it on Amazon, read it, and returned it. Oopsie. Calling myself out. Number 21 is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Wallish? Forget the last name. This book I read on vacation. I thought it was going to be the perfect summery book, which it was. It was very summery. It also was just very young. It is a YA book, so I knew that going into it, but I just think I'm a bit too old to be reading that much of a YA. Some YA I really don't mind, but this one just read really young. It was very insta-lovey, which is really not my cup of tea. And I liked the game aspect. They're playing this I forget what it's called, but it's this game where basically you're trying to kill people. Not really kill them, you know what I mean? You have water guns and you're trying to shoot people, and then it deals a lot with grief, and the main character's sister died, but I don't know, it fell flat for me, and it was a very quick read, very easy read, but a very forgettable read as well. And I'm sorry that I'm not giving full synopses of these books. A, sometimes I forget, and B, I just don't want to be here for an hour. So number 20 comes at The Wish, which do I have that? I do. I have it right here. The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. Bought this book on a whim at a thrift store, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really sweet story. It's a really heartbreaking story. I love the twist at the end. I actually cried reading the twist at the end, which I don't typically cry when I read books, especially like just like contemporary books. I don't know, they just like don't get to me like that. But I did enjoy it. I just read a lot more books this year that I enjoyed more, which is why this is towards the latter half of my list. But I did really like it, and I would be inclined to read more from Nicholas Sparks. His writing isn't typically always my cup of tea, but that one, it read really easily, and it wasn't like super like cliche or anything. I don't know. It was good. It was a fine book. Number 19 is All Your Perfects, which I do not have. My mom has that book because it was hers and I borrowed it from her. This is by Colleen Hoover. This deals a lot with cheating, a lot with infertility, just some like tougher topics. A toxic relationship. It was just, it was okay. I do like Colleen Hoover. I will say, I know that's kind of like an unpopular opinion these days. I do like Colleen Hoover, and she was really like my gateway back into reading as an adult. But this book, it was just fine. It just kind of left me like kind of sad reading it. It just wasn't a very like uplift, and it's not that it was marketed to be uplifting. It just wasn't like, I don't know. It just kind of left me feeling like bleh. So that's why it came in at number 19. Number 18, this is the series that I had to break up. So this is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like I've already talked at length about my feelings on this book in a past video and also on my TikTok. Just didn't like it. That's just how it is. I don't have much more to say. It was super disappointing. I am excited, not excited, that's not the right word. I'm interested to read the rest of the series, but I'm not excited about it. And this book just left me feeling kind of like mad that I spent so much time reading that book to get to that ending. And it was so different than Fourth Wing, which will be coming in higher in the list, but Iron Flame was a letdown this year. What is it? 17 comes in at Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This is a really sweet YA novel. Again, this reads pretty young, but I loved that it was set in Italy. I really love Italy. My husband and I went on our honeymoon in Venice, and that just kind of brought back good feelings. It was a really sweet love story, and it was also a sweet story about like family. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I read this during the summer, like poolside, and I feel like it was the perfect like little summer read. And I would be interested to read the other books in that series, but I'm not like running to read them. If I saw them at like my thrift store, I would maybe buy them. But it was a cute read. Number 16, I don't have because someone's borrowing it from my life. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Again, I like Colleen Hoover. I really loved It Ends With Us, which I have right here. But It Starts With Us was kind of just like a sweet little like tying a bow on, I forget even the main character's name. The only main character's name that I remember is Atlas. It kind of just ties a bow neatly on their story. It's a sweet ending to kind of a heartbreaking story in It Ends With Us. And yeah, I don't have much more to say about it. It was fine. It was fine. 15, I have to give it to Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. This book was the last book that I read in 2023, and my reading wrap-up will be coming along with my January TBR, so that's gonna be like a combined video. That should be the next video that you see, hopefully, maybe. This book really made me feel kind of gross. It is a thriller. It's also their debut novel, which is alarming. I mean, it's great. It's great. Like, it's a great thriller. It just left me feeling a little uncomfortable. And I really wish that I looked up trigger warnings before, because there are some things in this book that really made my insides turn, and I almost DNF'd it, but it's so short that I just wanted to read 30 books this year, you guys. So I was like, I gotta get through it. And yeah, it was interesting. Number 14 is Find Her by Lisa Gardner. This is another thriller. It's kind of like a whodunit kind of thing, and it deals with like kidnapping. This is the thing, I read books and I just instantly forget. It deals with kidnapping and kind of like revenge and mental health and just kind of PTSD. It was a really, really good read. Now that I'm like talking about it, I'm like kind of like forgetting major plot points, but I remember really, really enjoying my time reading it, so much so that I bought the next book in this little series. And I really like that author's writing style. Number 13 is going to be Flawless by Elsie Silver. This was the first and only book that I read from the Chestnut Spring series this year, and I don't know if I'm going to continue it. Even though this book is coming in kind of high on this list, to be honest, I couldn't really... It's so hard. From like 6 to the bottom was hard to kind of place them. My top 5 is very solidified. Actually, like my top 6 is very solidified, but like other than that, it was kind of hard. I did enjoy my time reading Flawless. It was a little cringy. It was a little like, I don't know, predictable. I don't know. It was fine. It's a cowboy romance. What do you want from it? I didn't expect much going into it, and my expectations were met because they didn't exist. Let me know if I should continue the series, because I don't know. I don't know if I feel like it, but they're also on Kindle Unlimited, so I might just read them just for the heck of it. By the way, I'm not including books that I DNF'd fully on this list. There are some books that I got like 100 pages in, but I did not include them on this list. Just because I just feel like ranking them against books that I finished fully just didn't really make sense. Number 12 is going to be The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I read this during spooky season, and it was like the perfect witchy, spooky little rom-com. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I thought I was going to, because it is quite hyped up, and I feel like especially around the time that I read it, I was just seeing a lot of buzz about it and people saying that they annotate it and reread it. It is a really fun read though. Like, now I'm thinking about it, it is a really fun read. I like the main protagonist. I like her, and I really like that there's a cat in it, and the cat it talks. So that was a major selling point for me. Number 11 is going to be Ruth Ware's Turn of the Key. This was a little like haunted, like mystery thriller about this housemaid who is staying with this family, and just like weird things are happening. And you're like, is the house haunted? Is someone doing this? Like, what is going on? It was a really, really fun read. I like Ruth Ware a lot. She wrote a couple of my favorite thrillers. The Woman in Cabin 10, I really, really love by her. And I have like a lot of other books by her that I really want to get to in the new year. But I love this. Like, this was a really fun read. I do wish that I read this during spooky season. I did not, but I wish I did. But it was really good. I highly recommend that one. Number 10 is going to be I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This is a memoir / autobiography, just her kind of recounting her experience growing up with her mother being a child actor and just being like really abused by her mother. I listened to it on audio, which I highly recommend doing because Jeanette herself narrates it, and it's kind of just like a podcast. Like, you're just listening to her like recount everything, and it's incredibly heartbreaking and hard to listen to, especially as someone who loved iCarly and just like really, I don't know, it just resonated with me. I feel like this is a book that just really shines a light on child actors and just kind of how a lot of times it's against their will, and it's really sad. But yeah, I really but like I'm glad that I listened to it and read it. Number 9 is going to be King of Wrath by Anna Huang. I do not have this book. It was on Kindle. Love this book. Loved it so much. This was kind of like my gateway into like spice. Like, I remember reading like Dante. I was just like blushing. I don't know. I really, really liked it. I liked the kind of arranged and kind of like, they didn't want to be together, the two main characters, but it was like arranged, and it was kind of like forced proximity. They have to live together, and just like the tension and the spice, and it was just like, it was a good smutty billionaire romance book. I enjoyed it. Number 8, I have somewhere. 8 is The Maid by Nita Prose. I loved this book. And it's so funny because I posted a TikTok when I started reading this, and I was like, fantasy ruined other genres for me. Like, I don't care about this maid. Like, where's like the Bat Boys? And then I proceeded to consume this in literally 24 hours. Like, I read this in less than a day. I mean, it's quite short, but I loved it so much. You're following this maid, and she is pretty much framed for murder, the poor sweet soul. And she definitely has some awkward tendencies. She's very socially awkward. Just such like a pure soul, and her relationship with her grandmother, and she is just so trusting of everyone, and the poor thing is just being framed for murder. It's like, it's funny, it's sad, it's quirky. It was a really fast-paced kind of, more like a cozy mystery. It wasn't really like a thriller, because it was just like, I don't know, it just left me feeling like warm and fuzzy, even though it was about a murder of some guy. But like the side characters, it was just so much fun. I really loved my time reading that. Number 7, I don't have the physical copy because, again, lent it to my mother, but it's Happy Place by Emily Henry. I read Beach Read last year, and I didn't really like it. Gave it like a 3-star, thought it was fine. Kind of an insufferable read. I don't know. I just really didn't love it. I didn't love it. And it's so funny because like now that I am more so on TikTok and book talk, I see people like that's like their favorite Emily Henry book. I'm like, do I have to reread it? I really don't want to. I have it right here. I really don't want to, but people like love it. So I was hesitant to read Happy Place, but I posted like a poll on Instagram. I was like, should I start ACOTAR or should I read Happy Place? And Happy Place won, and so I read it and I loved it. I loved it so much. It follows Harriet and Wynn, and they are fiancés who break up and then have to pretend that they're still fiancés for the sake of their friend group on a little vacation. But I really did enjoy it, and it made me want to continue to give Emily Henry a chance, hence why I bought People Meet on Vacation at my local thrift store recently, and I'm excited for her release next year. Okay, we're getting into the top six. These are like solidified. These are like best books of the whole year by far. Number 6 is gonna come in at Divine Rivals. I'm so mad that it took me so long to read this book, but I'm so happy that I did. I have a single tab. Why did I do that? I think it was like world building or something. I don't know. It was like something about the gods. Everyone loves this book, and for a very good reason. It is so much fun. It's more like a historical fantasy. It follows Iris and Rowan, and you just watch them fall in love through a magical typewriter. They write letters to each other, and their letters are the sweetest thing. There were a couple things that I didn't love, but overall I highly recommend this book, and I'm really glad that I picked it up, and I'm really excited to read Ruthless Vows in 2024. Number 5 is going to be Caraval. I love this book so much. I read this in the summertime, I believe, and on my Goodreads review, I was like, I think this is my favorite book of all time. Like, I want to reread it, like, right now. And I just have been chasing that feeling ever since. Like, I want to feel that way with every book that I read. This was my first fantasy book ever, unless you count, like, The Hunger Games, which I don't, because that's, like, dystopian. This is my first fantasy book ever, and I just fell in love with Stephanie Garber's writing, the magical fairy tale, whimsical writing that she uses, the world that she created, the characters. It had depth, it had adventure, it had romance, it had, you know, family and sisterhood, and it was just so much fun. I love it so much. I need to finish this series ASAP. And then I need to read the Once Broken Heart series. But this has my heart. Number 5. Number 4, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Don't have to talk too much in depth about this. I tabbed the heck out of it and highlighted it. This book stole my heart immediately, and I have not stopped thinking about it since. I love these characters so much. It's very rare for me to feel this deeply connected to a contemporary romance novel. Fantasy is one thing. I don't know. Fantasy, I just get so connected because it's just like so different from real life. But this, I can't stop thinking about these characters, and just, it's so good. I want to read more by Christina Lauren in the new year. And yeah, this was an easy number 4 spot. Number 3 is going to come into Fourth Wing. Clearly love this way more than Iron Flame. Clearly. I need to actually go through and tab the middle of the book. I like stopped tabbing and then started again. Whatever. This book captivated me. The dragons, the romance, the adventure, the mental health and chronic illness representation, the family, the found family. Oh my God, everything about it. And the school setting. I love a school setting. I really do. It was just everything that I could have wanted it to be. And how dare you, Rebecca, do that to me with Iron Flame. But Fourth Wing, like, I almost wish it was a standalone, because just nothing can top it. Number 2 is a duology. So this is the One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns duology by Rachel Gillig. I just finished Two Twisted Crowns this past month in December, and I love this duology so much. The world that Rachel Gillig was able to create, the gothic and like dark and mist and just everything about this world and the magic system is chef's kiss. So good, like so atmospheric. I very rarely can read a book and just picture it in my mind, and this, like, she paints the picture for you. It's almost like just watching it like on screen unfold. The first book was amazing, second book even better. This perfect duology, like no notes. Thank you so much. And then number 1, I think we can all say it with me, ACOTAR. The entire series of ACOTAR, which I didn't feel like holding 5 books. I'm so sorry. They are bricks, and I just didn't feel like getting them off my shelf. This series changed my entire life, and I know that's dramatic, and I know that's insane to say, but this series truly changed my life. It made me into the reader that I am today. It made me, Caraval got me into fantasy. ACOTAR made me obsessed and like foaming at the mouth over fantasy. Like, I get so excited about fantasy now, and it's all thanks to SJM. Like, she just created the perfect world, the perfect characters, the perfect plot. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about any book in the series. Like, yeah, Frost and Starlight, it's a little novella. I didn't rate it 5 stars, but I have nothing bad to say about it. Silver Flames, I rated, I think, 4.5 stars out of 5. I still have nothing bad to say about it. It just didn't give me like that 5-star feeling that the rest of the series did. But it is a 1,000,000-star, infinity star series to me. This will always be my gold standard. And I talk at length about my love for this series in my last video, which was my end of year book reading tag, because this just consumed my reading year. But if you still have not read ACOTAR, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Let me change your life. Let SJM change your life, because we love him. Yeah, just totally obsessed. Like, absolutely would not change a thing. All right, guys, so that actually wraps up today's video. That was me ranking all of the books I read this year from number 24 all the way to number 1. I read 30 books even this year, which I just still can't believe. I'm so excited to expand on my TBR and my reading goals in 2024. I talked more about my reading goals again in that previous video, so I will link that for you down below, and let me know what your like top 3 books that you read this year was, or just rank them all for me. Rank them all in the comments below. I would love to hear some of your recommendations and if we have any of the same reads, and I hope that you enjoyed. Again, give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!